Everyone is looking at the price and just one question: will we go up? And if we will go up, when will we do that? Even after you see a trend which is continuing inside it, people will still ask this. Now, while talking through this TA, I also would like to take you guys through a couple of important reports and a thread which shows you what you are gonna look at in next 2 years, 3 years time. So when people understand this, they understand it's not gonna hurt them. It's going to be really interesting, because when you see this in this particular area, now this entire thread taken it from the law reviews, where they highlight everything related to crypto regulations in USA. Now there's a lot in that, but first of all I want to highlight is, if you can buy something from someone, say, and you're holding it there itself and the value goes up, they can some kind of be security. But however, here in this particular case, they highlights, if you're buying it from them or the agents, say here in case Ripple is the main seller, exchanges are the agents, and you are buying it from them, fine. But the story is different from SEC, right? SEC doesn't actually understand this, because when you read through this, the highlighted part shows you, if you can buy it from a seller or a trading platform, which for us is an exchange, and take it to a separate blockchain address over which the retail customer maintains sole possession and control, or a separate independent, that shows you, if you are taking it into your wallet, your ledger, you're moving out of the blockchain and moving into a different one, that means it's not a security. Now that's one of the basic stuff which most of the SEC guys don't understand. Why? Because they go back and say these are their opinion. The Hinman speech is just their opinion. But what happens? The industry cites or refers it as the idea of SEC. Now in this particular thread, you have a lot of information which shows SEC first off, SEC don't directly have that ability to do this. They're trying to do this, but the court is going to understand this, because all of these are governmental institutions. The CFTC has regulatory jurisdiction over swaps. Now understand, what is swap? The definition of a swap is broad. It includes a number of different types of transactions in which the underlier is a commodity, but also includes transactions in which underlies an interest or other rate, currency, security, instrument of index, quantitative measures, and all other stuff. Why am I highlighting this now? You just saw SEC going against Coinbase, stating, if you are providing that, the interest rate is going to be a security. If you're going to provide that staking, literally what you're going to give them is another security. So don't do that. But here it shows it doesn't actually go under SEC. It's showing it's CFTC, which has the authority over that. So this is the existing law in US, right? So when the virtual currencies, not a fiat currency, CFTC stated the virtual currency is a digital asset that encompasses any digital representation of value or unit of account that is or can be used as a form of currency. Highlight this. Transferred from one party to another as a medium of exchange. These are important. Now this thread is combining everything in USA, right? Now I have another one from the World Bank. So in this particular one, the important stuff is, now we know that the technology is evolving. We know that we are going into this area. And in this particular item, what I really would like to show you is, now there's a lot of stuff in this, and I'm going to take you through that. But what I want to really show you is like the interoperability layer, and it's being tested. See, this is Ethereum testnet, this is XRP Ledger testnet. Now what people doesn't understand is the goal is what? Value exchange. And this is being highlighted way, the World Bank. And what is using there is Interledger, which is the proof of concept there, and then multilateral blockchain phase 2. So they are using Coda and Ethereum. They're using Ether and Ripple for value exchange. First of all, we know Ethereum as a blockchain doesn't actually give you that ability to scale to that maximum extent with lesser cost, right? So you need something else to scale that. So with IntelliJ protocol, you're going to see a lot of stuff moving in here. Now, in this document, when you're going through the interoperability, they talk about quant. Now, we knew this. That's why we were so high on quant when the price was so low. Then we, went from that $5 mark. Now, we entered a little bit late, $5 to $10 mark. And then from there, we went to $400. Now, why? Because the fundamentals are already there. So now, today, we are going to discuss through these and then come back to the price and highlights what we are looking at based on the trend, based on the pattern, and what we can look forward to. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. So now that we just had a little bit of session about the fundamentals, we can look at the TA, which would be interesting. So right now, what I would like to take you guys through is simple step, which is so easy. You can just take the bar patterns here and look like, okay, from this bottom to this top, you're taking it, and then you're going towards this bottom. What did we do? Okay, fine. Then here it looks something similar. We went down, we had the initial pump, we slowed down, then we went higher. But what happened? From the top of that, you still went a lot higher. Fine. So you can't actually take this one and move forward, right? So you're leaving that there. Now, what happens next? This one, this particular run up is the higher one. So you're taking that one and moving forward. It's invalidated, right? Just by the first area, then the correction below the trend, then the first area in this trend line, you reached that target. You corrected a little bit, then you went way above that. So this top was like 0.7 and this one is like $2. So that's like 3 times. Fine. So again, this is invalidated. You're keeping it there. Now, the next one, you got it from here till the roof. Now, if you look at this, you understand that, okay, fine. Each time you're going higher, the impulse is higher. Just the consolidation time taken for the consolidation is increasing, but the total run up is higher. Now, from what we have understood till now, the basic information here is anyway, you're going to reach above this target first. Then second, you're going to move way above this. Now, the time taken is different. So what are you trying to understand from here? Basic stuff is like we need to understand the percentage at which it would be higher. Say from first top to the second top, you kind of get like 130% above that. Then from this one to this one, you kind of get like 180%. So if you want to include these, you are kind of doing this one too. So 45%. Then it's 130, then it's 80. So here you're going like 3 times, 3x. But here it is right now like 50% more. Now, if you balance that equation, the next one is going to be like 25% more. So if you plot this from here, you're going to get like 220 to 30%. So which would be something like this, say around $6. Now, that's just in percentage terms, and now combining that with what we just saw in the pattern, we are still going higher than this, right? Each time we made this high compared to the previous one, we went way higher. So we need to actually calculate that too. So now you take all of these, say from the bottom, you place this here, then from the bottom, you place this here. So these are 2 marks which you're going to measure. First one from here till the roof, which is like 80%. Second one from here till the roof. So that's 240%. So if you take the average, you get somewhere in between 180%, 120%, 150%. So now we are taking that and you're moving high, and we get even just by 100, we're getting monstrous number for this take, which is like $9. Now that's interesting. Now if you actually take them all out just to look at the basic information, which is the support resistance trend line, you understand that, okay, we are going to continue higher. We are going to move higher. Fine. But while we move higher, the problem here is the time taken. I personally was thinking like by September 2025, we're going to reach the roof of this resistance, which would be like $6 mark. Now SEC just came in, bashed through the Coinbase, put all the allegations through a lot of stuff, and then the report from Gary, meaning it's his opinion at the end of the day, but the market digest it as view of SEC. That's the trouble. That's delaying us. But now we understand there's a lot of different assets which are moving higher, which are going through our target, right? We had a target for Gala back in 15th and 18th. We already hit that target. So, that's kind of stuff which you have to understand. There's a lot of assets which are moving based on what we thought it would be doing. You just have to go through this and look at okay, in last 7 days, you had all of these assets pumping. You had all of these assets as an opportunity. Before they went down, the percentage was much higher than that. Now, you look at the 24 hours, you have a lot of coins which are doing bad. And you look at this side, you have a lot of other assets which are doing fine. We had our targets. We are moving through those targets. So if you want updates for assets, different assets with opportunities like this, then you can definitely look at the Patreon. The link is in the description below, where you're going to get all these charts so that you know which assets are going to have higher probability of moving higher in recent times. Now, coming back to XRP, while we look at each time, it's really important to understand time and patience is so hard. And it can be say, people may not understand this, but it's really hard to be patient. Those who are here from a long time, they understand this. But those who are new, they're like, okay, fine, I've been waiting for some time. Why am I not getting profit? So right now we are just taking through all these bases and understanding, okay, here what we just looked at is the difference. Now we have a different trend variation. So now, for the top, because most of us are just looking at the top, we have done this analysis previously and we were like, okay, September 2025 towards October 15th is the range where we should be reaching the top. And I personally thought it would be in the early days, which is like September 20 to 25. Now, why is it so important to look at the market? Because if you are an investor investing in this market, you now know the trend is like this, and when you're following the trend, it's all easy to make money if you have patience. Say you buy at the bottom support range and you wait until it come somewhere close to that resistance range, because we know that it's gonna come and touch that resistance and then go back down. Otherwise, we need to break this and then the picture changes, because while you're looking at this trend, you're just looking like $6 to $7, $8 mark. But when you're looking at a breakout of this trend somewhere around $6 to $8, that means we are going to continue high and the picture is now big. You're going to go to $16, $20, $25, $30. We don't know. We'll have to reevaluate based on the volume, based on the indicators at that time when we are breaking out. But right now, what we are eyeing at is the weekly stuff. You're like, okay, fine, on a weekly we are still moving higher. On a weekly we are still inside this trend. We haven't actually broken out. We need to break out. But if there is a decline in the price, where can we go? We had a wick, we went up to 0.8. Now that differs in different exchanges. Then your major support here is around $1. Now, previously on a weekly, when you are just taking this horizontal line and putting it here, you understand this. The previous support was around 1.05 and you're still maintaining that. You're coming close to that range, you're bouncing. You're coming close to that range, you're bouncing. So if you go on to a shorter time frame of XRP chart to understand, okay, what can you really see in the charts? Is there a pattern? Is there a trend? Because I know recently a lot of people are trading, and if you're trading through this, you first need to understand what our hourly chart looks like, what it's going to show you, what it's doing, and all those cases, it's easy to first mark your trend, what you're following, and then wait for the breakout. See, this particular pattern is showing you a channel in which you're moving down, and if you get a breakout to the upside, that's fine, because in this asset the impulse is to the upside and your trade direction should be to the upside. So this is your support range where you're getting bounce for this asset, and this is your resistance range where you're being resisted. So on a macro, when you go on a daily, these are just small noise. You don't even see them as big fluctuations. But when you are trading and you have a high emotion, the emotional balance is so important when you're trading, because unless you have that, you're going to be tested way harder than others, because you're there for short term and the market is going to test your patience and kick you out if you don't have that much of patience. Now, with this trend, what is a little bit of negativeness here is that we have a trend where these highs are reducing. We need to break above this, and if we do, that's bullish. So That's on a 4-hour chart. But when we go on to a 3-day chart, weekly chart, what we get is different stuff. We are trending higher, we are trending like this. Now, the question is, whatever happens in the price, does the fundamentals change? Because we just saw a lot of stuff here in the fundamentals. I'm taking you guys from the initial part of this. So say the first one is the talk about the technology. Now we all understand that. What is it? It's about the interoperability, and you only have major 2 interoperability layers, in which one is quant, fine, coming up with the over ledger protocol, and the next one is interledger protocol, which is from Ripple, the company. Now, when we look at both of these, you do have to understand the interledger is being used. Polkadot, the dot platform, is being used. They are all being highlighted. So as you go down in this particular document from the World Bank, it's important to understand what they are eyeing as interoperability layers. So when you go through that, they highlight you the examples, and they show you that we went through all these and we understood that this technology is going to stay. Now, if you read through this, you're going to understand what I'm saying. Once they see all of these different nations going through different proof of work, understanding different abilities which these technologies can actually deliver, yes, this technology is here to stay. Now, you actually can see working group explorations, and the working group actually went through different platforms, right? Looking at which one did better, which one have what kind of ability, and you look at like, okay, smart contracts, here it is, you're looking for all these different items, and then you come to Interledger, which is an open protocol originally inspired by Internet Protocol. So it's not like a XRP fan highlighting the benefits of Interledger connected to the XRP ledger route. Now, when people say like, okay, this is not that blah blah blah, this is important. Because say, just in 2020, they are putting this one out when the market issue, all of those are there, right? When you're looking at all these, you do understand that they know Interledger, yes, it's connected to XRP ledger, because some say Interledger, yeah, it can operate with even BTC, it can operate with anything. You do have to understand the settlement engine there is the XRP ledger. The settlement engine here, XRP ledger. So that comes to the XRP test net, XRP ledger test net. So to be precise, again, you are using that as internet of value. Understand that. You get to see this in the World Bank report. Then in these tables, when you are highlighting this, say previously we just showed it in the beginning, this is for what? Value exchange. So what we just saw from the news was like, if it's a means of exchange, it's not gonna hurt you. That's why this is from HSBC, right? The game changers. We went through this document, say sometime back, right? 6 months or a year back, we actually went through this. But it is important to get this perspective combined from the World Bank document, from all the reviews of United States crypto regulation, and then you come here, you understand, okay, this particular technology is not gonna go away. Distributed ledger, and what is it being used for? A lot of different purpose, but mainly for payments. So when you come down here, you get this, right? It's clear here. Distributed ledger technology can streamline the end-to-end value transfers, the value exchange, right? They reduce the cost and all those related to it. Now, here they are highlighting you, for example, Ripple's XRP ledger provides. It's not talking about crypto XRP, they are talking about the ledger. But what happens if you want to use that ledger? There's a native token in the ledger which happens to be XRP. So fundamentals are so strong in this one. Understand, these are documents where you are going through World Bank document. They are highlighting IMF, BIS, all the central banks, and all of them are looking at this. So what are the international developments? How you're going to look at this and all? It's like, fine, it's not 5 years back. The document is recent. Like last couple of years, we are seeing a lot of development in the blockchain, the Internet of Things, and all of them are moving towards different area of payments. So within these documents, when you see all of this, you need to understand, okay, Coda, you still have XRP ledger as a settlement asset. Now, when you see like, okay, there are other options in this, okay, which is named as dot or Polkadot. Yes, that's another option to do this. But what you have to understand is you have 10,000 cryptos out there, and not all of them are coming in World Bank document. Not all of them are coming in top banking documents. Not all of them are coming in IMF, BIS, and all of the documents. You are only looking at the liquidity providers. You are only looking at the assets which have the ability to reduce the current pain points, solve those pain points, right? So when you come here, you understand Ripple is trying to claim this, and we know what's the truth. So in this particular thread, when I'm actually taking you do have to understand virtual currencies, precisely for XRP, it's a medium of exchange. We just saw that in World Bank documents. So at least it's not me thinking something wrong, but it's the SEC. We understand that. Now, when you come through this banking and money transmission, you kind of see like, okay, there's been a lot of improvement, and they're talking about this virtual currencies. I've sought to actively regulate the virtual currencies and virtual currency activities of their supervised entities to date. Now, they are going through all this and, do that anti-money laundering, all those regulations, KYC and all. At the end of the day, you do have to understand, then it may be appropriate for the debtor to retain and use its virtual currency in its business, either with court's permission, understand that, either with court's permission, or if appropriate with the applicable bankruptcy case laws. So that means they can still hold this virtual currency in their book. It's really important to get that point here. However, if the virtual currency is an instrumental to carrying out of the debtor's business function, or the value of the business, or any restructuring depends on the retention and continued use of its virtual currency, then it may be appropriate for the debtor to retain and use its virtual currency in its business, either with the court's permission, or if appropriate with the applicable bankruptcy law. So what I personally think, Ripple, the company is too big to fail. It's not going bankrupt. You see Google Ventures, you see a lot of high-end guys being investors in that. I don't think it's going to go bankrupt. So it's going to be the other one, court's permission. Guys, this is so easy to understand for anyone who has that cognitive ability to put all of this together. And if you see these fundamentals, you are like, okay, I know that the fundamentals is so strong here. Then the only question is like, okay, are we going to go down? Because a lot of them are trying to trade this. Now, it's fine, you can trade, but understand, when you trade the market, you have a long-term bag, you have a short-term bag, then it's fine, you're trading with your short-term bag. Don't mess up with your long-term bag in a way that you are increasing your average to the upside. I know we are kind of repeating something which we have said from a long time, but that's the basic. Because what happens to people is they try something new, they fail, they move on to another one. They try something new again, they fail, and then they move on to other one. It's not done like that. If you want to succeed in anything you do, you want to try that, you fail. Now take note why that happened to you. You go through that particular trade, understand where you bought, where you sold, go to the trend pattern, validate whether you sold at a support and the market bounced. Validate whether you sold at a resistance and you got a profit. Those are basic stuff. If you have done it in an opposite manner to what it should have been done, and you're neglecting that failure, because failure to make money is not a bad thing if you are understanding why you failed at the first time, because that's first attempt in learning, right? So you did a trade, you lost, great, but what did you learn from that? And if you are using that knowledge to do your next trade, the odds of you making money is higher there. Now, when you do series of trade using the same strategy and you master that strategy, you understand something. Money is now rerouting and coming back to your assets. That's really easy to understand. That's something really important to understand, because say I've been trading, say for example, I've been using eToro as a platform for like 6-7 years, maybe 5-6 years. I'm getting recent calls from them highlighting, do you really want to be a copy trader? I'm like, no, I don't want to do that, because the way I do trade and the way you do trade, it would be different. Your strategy would be different. Now, if you want to follow my strategy, you should know where I'm buying in. So if you're copying me, I'm not buying more of a trades now, basically, because all those are bought at the bottom. So XRP 0.2, below 0.1675 something is the average. So as we look at different stuff in the overall portfolio, that's not the case. What you should be doing is highlighting, okay, these were the opportunity where I entered, but right now these are the opportunities. That's why we use the Patreon to show that these are the opportunities. And if you feel bored, don't just trade for the purpose of trading it. Don't just close a trade just for closing it. You're waiting for your targets. So if you follow your strategy, it's one thing for clear. You do that repeatedly again and again, you learn a lot of things and you survive and you thrive. So if you want to do that, you can. Otherwise, you're just trying to make money and losing money. So guys, if you receive value for your time as an investor here, please do hit that like and subscribe button because that helps the channel a lot. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.